Ireland is a land of myths, legends, and ancient mysteries. But hidden within its history lies an enigma that has puzzled historians and geneticists for centuries: the mystery of the Black Irish. Who were they? Were they just dark-haired Irish people, or is there a deeper, more mysterious origin to their DNA? For generations, certain Irish families, especially in the west of Ireland, have been known for their striking dark hair, dark eyes, and pale skin. Unlike the stereotypical red-haired, freckled Irish, these individuals stood out, leading to speculation about their ancestry. Some say they are the descendants of Spanish sailors who were shipwrecked during the Spanish Armada in 1588. Others suggest their roots trace back to the Iberian Peninsula, North Africa, or even the Middle East, hinting at ancient migrations that predate written history. But why is this a dark secret? Some historians argue that the Black Irish challenged the traditional narrative of Irish ancestry, which has long focused on its Celtic identity. DNA studies have revealed unexpected connections between Irish people and populations far beyond Northern Europe. Could the Black Irish be living proof of an ancient, forgotten migration? Today, modern genetics is beginning to uncover clues, but many questions remain unanswered. Were the Black Irish an isolated group? Were they a remnant of a lost civilization? Or is this entire mystery based on misinterpretation and myth? In this video, we will explore the historical accounts, genetic evidence, and theories surrounding the Black Irish. By the end, you might find yourself questioning everything you thought you knew about Ireland's past. The term Black Irish is not an official classification in Irish history, yet it has persisted for generations. It is commonly used to describe Irish individuals with dark hair, dark eyes, and pale skin, setting them apart from the more well-known red-haired, freckled Irish stereotype. But who were these people, and where did they come from? One of the most popular theories is that the Black Irish are descendants of Spanish survivors from the Spanish Armada. In 1588, the Spanish fleet attempted to invade England but was devastated by storms and English attacks. Many ships were wrecked along the Irish coast, and some survivors are believed to have swum ashore and remained in Ireland. Over time, their genes mixed with the local population, supposedly leading to the emergence of the Black Irish. However, this theory has significant flaws. The number of Spanish survivors was small, and even if some stayed, it is unlikely that they would have had a widespread genetic impact. Furthermore, historical records show that many shipwrecked Spaniards were captured or executed, making it unlikely that they would have settled in large numbers. Additionally, dark-haired individuals had existed in Ireland long before the 16th century, suggesting that the Black Irish ancestry is much older. An alternative theory traces the Black Irish back to the Milesians, a legendary group of settlers in Irish mythology. According to ancient Irish texts, the Milesians were warriors from Iberia, modern-day Spain and Portugal, who came to Ireland thousands of years ago, defeating the mystical Tuatha De Danann and becoming the dominant people of Ireland. Some historians believe this legend could be based on real prehistoric migrations from Iberia to Ireland. Further evidence suggests that the Black Irish may have even more ancient origins. Some researchers speculate that Phoenician traders, North African settlers, or early Middle Eastern travelers may have reached Ireland, contributing to its genetic diversity. Ancient trade routes connected North Africa, the Mediterranean, and Western Europe, meaning that cultural and genetic exchanges were possible long before recorded history. There is also the question of Viking influence. While the Vikings were mostly of Scandinavian origin, they engaged in trade and warfare across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Some historians suggest that Vikings may have brought individuals of Moorish, Iberian, or Mediterranean descent to Ireland, further influencing the gene pool. However, there is no single proven explanation for the Black Irish. Unlike other ethnic groups, they are not defined by a specific historical migration or DNA marker. Instead, they appear to be the result of multiple waves of migration and intermixing over thousands of years. The mystery of the Black Irish persists because their origins are shrouded in myth, legend, and speculation. While genetic evidence has provided some answers, it has also raised more questions. Were the Black Irish the result of a single migration event, or were they a product of multiple forgotten civilizations? As we explore the DNA evidence, we may uncover more clues about this enduring Irish mystery. Modern genetic research has provided fascinating insights into the origins of the Irish people, revealing a far more complex ancestry than previously thought. For centuries, Ireland was believed to be predominantly Celtic, but DNA studies suggest that the population is a mix of multiple ancient groups. The question remains, where do the Black Irish fit into this genetic puzzle? One of the most intriguing discoveries in Irish genetics is the strong connection between Ireland and the Iberian Peninsula. DNA analysis has shown that ancient Irish populations shared genetic markers with the Basques of northern Spain and southwestern France. This suggests that prehistoric migrations from Iberia played a major role in shaping Ireland's population, potentially providing an early explanation for the Black Irish's dark features. Another surprising finding is the presence of North African and Middle Eastern DNA markers in certain Irish populations. Although not widespread, these markers indicate that small groups of North African or Middle Eastern people may have reached Ireland thousands of years ago. Some researchers proposed that Phoenician traders, who traveled as far as Britain and Ireland, could have left behind genetic traces. Further studies of ancient Irish remains have challenged traditional assumptions. For example, DNA extracted from 5,000-year-old skeletons found in Ireland suggests that some of the earliest Irish people had dark hair and brown eyes, rather than the pale-skinned, red-haired image often associated with Ireland today. This finding supports the theory that the Black Irish phenotype may have existed long before recorded history. Additionally, Y chromosome and mitochondrial DNA studies revealed that the male and female lineages of the Irish people do not always match up with traditional Celtic ancestry. While some Celtic DNA is present, much of the Irish gene pool appears to be older, with roots stretching back to pre-Celtic populations. This adds weight to the idea that the Black Irish may be descendants of an ancient group that lived in Ireland before the arrival of the Celts. The idea that the Spanish Armada introduced dark-haired genes into the Irish population has been largely debunked by geneticists. If Spanish sailors had significantly influenced Irish genetics, there would be clear signs of Southern European DNA in modern Irish people, but studies show that this is not the case. While some Spanish ancestry may exist, it is not widespread enough to explain the Black Irish as a distinct group. The possibility that Viking or Norman invasions introduced Mediterranean or North African genes to Ireland is also being explored. The Vikings, in particular, traveled extensively and may have brought individuals of Iberian, Moorish, or Middle Eastern descent to Ireland, though evidence for this remains limited. Ultimately, DNA evidence suggests that the Black Irish are not a single ethnic group but rather a reflection of Ireland's diverse genetic history. Their dark features likely result from a combination of prehistoric Iberian ancestry, early migrations, and natural variation within the Irish population. While modern genetics has provided clues, the mystery is far from solved. The Black Irish remain one of Ireland's most intriguing historical enigmas, with their origins buried deep in the past. The mystery of the Black Irish has led to numerous theories, some rooted in history, others in folklore and legend. While no single explanation fully accounts for their origins, several theories have emerged over time, each offering a different perspective on this enigmatic group. The Spanish Armada theory. One of the most well-known theories is that the Black Irish are descendants of Spanish sailors who survived the wreck of the Spanish Armada in 1588. According to historical accounts, when Spain attempted to invade England, many of their ships were destroyed by storms, forcing the surviving sailors to swim to the Irish shore. With no way to return home, some are believed to have settled in Ireland, married local women, and passed on their dark hair, dark eyes, and olive skin to future generations. However, this theory has been largely debunked. The number of surviving Spanish sailors was small, and most were either executed or sent back to Spain. Additionally, DNA studies do not show significant Spanish genetic influence in Ireland, suggesting that the Black Irish existed long before the Armada. The Milesian legend. An alternative theory comes from Irish mythology. The Milesians were an ancient people said to have migrated from Iberia, modern-day Spain and Portugal, to Ireland thousands of years ago. According to legend, they were warriors who defeated the mystical Tuatha Dé Danann and became the ancestors of the modern Irish. Some historians believe this story might be based on real prehistoric migrations from Iberia, which could explain the genetic link between Ireland and Spain. The Phoenician and North African connection. Some researchers suggest that the Black Irish may have traces of North African or Middle Eastern ancestry. The Phoenicians, who were skilled traders from the eastern Mediterranean, sailed across Europe, including the British Isles. Some believe that Phoenician traders or North African settlers may have left behind genetic traces in Ireland, contributing to the darker features seen in some Irish populations. Additionally, Vikings raiding and trading with North Africa may have brought Moorish captives to Ireland, who later mixed with the local population. While historical evidence for this theory is limited, genetic studies have detected small traces of North African DNA in parts of Ireland, fueling speculation about this possibility. The Viking and Norman influence. The Vikings and Normans, who invaded Ireland between the 9th and 12th centuries, were known for their vast networks of trade and conquest. Some historians suggest that they may have introduced Mediterranean and Middle Eastern genes into the Irish population. While the Vikings were primarily Scandinavian, they traveled widely and could have brought individuals of Iberian, Moorish, or Middle Eastern descent into Ireland. A forgotten indigenous group? Another theory suggests that the Black Irish are not the result of foreign influence, but rather a remnant of an ancient, pre-Celtic population. Before the Celts arrived, Ireland was inhabited by unknown early settlers, whose dark features may have persisted in certain genetic lineages. DNA studies have found that some of the earliest Irish inhabitants had dark hair and brown eyes, supporting this idea. While these theories provide intriguing possibilities, the true origins of the Black Irish remain a historical enigma. Were they the result of Spanish survivors, ancient Iberian migrations, North African traders, or even Ireland's indigenous ancestors? The answer may never be fully known, but the mystery continues to fascinate historians and geneticists alike. The mystery surrounding the Black Irish is not just a question of ancestry or genetics, it's a controversy that speaks to the broader issues of national identity, historical narratives, and social perceptions. Why has the story of the Black Irish remained such a dark secret? Is it because of the uncomfortable truths it reveals about Ireland's diverse and complex past, or is it because the idea challenges the official narrative of Irish heritage? The challenge to Irish identity. Ireland's national identity has long been tied to its Celtic roots. From the moment the Celts arrived on the island around 2,500 years ago, they became the dominant group, shaping Ireland's language, culture, and mythology. Over time, the idea of a Celtic-Irish identity became firmly entrenched in the collective consciousness of the nation. The image of the fair-skinned, red-haired Irish person became symbolic of Ireland's proud Celtic heritage. The existence of the Black Irish, with their dark hair, dark eyes, and sometimes olive skin, directly challenges this long-standing narrative. Theories suggesting that they may have Iberian, North African, or even Middle Eastern ancestry disrupt the Celtic purity that many Irish people identify with. For some, this contradiction is uncomfortable because it complicates the idea of Ireland as a nation of people descended solely from the Celts. This unease around the Black Irish is often rooted in the fear that accepting their genetic diversity could dilute the Celtic identity. Nationalists, in particular, might view the admission of a more complex ancestry as an attempt to undermine the myth of a homogeneous Irish people. In this light, the Black Irish could be seen as a hidden element of Irish heritage, too complex to fit neatly into the traditional narrative of what it means to be Irish. The historical erasure of non-Celtic influences. One reason why the story of the Black Irish has been kept in the shadows is that it represents a challenge to the historical narrative of Ireland. The Celtic past has been romanticized for centuries, and any evidence suggesting that Ireland's early inhabitants were not entirely Celtic or were influenced by outside groups threatens to disrupt this vision. For much of Ireland's history, particularly during the 19th and early 20th centuries, there was an effort to consolidate Irish identity in a way that emphasized its Celtic roots. In this context, influences from non-Celtic groups, like the Phoenicians, Vikings, or even Spanish, were either downplayed or ignored. These groups may have contributed to Ireland's genetic makeup, but their involvement was not widely acknowledged. The arrival of genetic research in the 21st century has begun to unearth these forgotten layers of history. Studies have revealed unexpected Iberian, North African, and even Middle Eastern genetic markers in certain Irish populations, especially among those who are considered to be Black Irish. But despite this mounting evidence, the idea of a mixed Irish heritage remains controversial. Many are reluctant to fully embrace the DNA evidence, as it requires rethinking the traditional, idealized narrative of Ireland as a land purely shaped by Celtic influence. The stigma of otherness. For many of the Black Irish, their dark features have long been a source of social stigma. The term Black Irish was not always used to refer to any particular ethnic group, but often served as a way to distinguish certain Irish people from the mainstream, fairer Irish population. In this sense, being identified as Black Irish may have been a subtle way of labeling someone as other, different from the standard image of the ideal Irish person. This social division was not confined to Ireland itself, but extended to the Irish diaspora, particularly in places like the United States, where Irish immigrants were often seen as a distinct, less desirable group compared to other European immigrants. The label Black Irish in these contexts was sometimes used in a derogatory sense, marking individuals as different from the mainstream Irish immigrant population. Why it's a dark secret? The concept of the Black Irish as a dark secret is less about a physical secret and more about a social and historical taboo. For centuries, the existence of Irish people with darker features was ignored or marginalized, as it did not fit neatly into the national narrative of Ireland as a land of pure Celtic descent. Any deviation from this idealized image was either denied or overlooked in favor of maintaining the traditional story of Irish homogeneity. In the face of modern DNA testing, however, these hidden truths are now coming to light. The Black Irish mystery is a reminder that Ireland's history is not as simple as it has often been portrayed. It reflects ancient migrations, cultural exchanges, and genetic diversity, elements that have been shrouded in myth and mystery for centuries. Yet, for some, acknowledging these truths is still uncomfortable. The controversy lies not in the discovery of new genetic evidence, but in the unwillingness to fully embrace a more diverse and nuanced view of Irish identity. The story of the Black Irish is a challenge to the simplicity of national myths, and that challenge makes it a dark secret, hidden not because it is scandalous, but because it forces people to reconsider how they define the very idea of being Irish. In the end, the mystery of the Black Irish serves as a reminder that history is complex and identities are fluid. The truth, however uncomfortable, is worth uncovering, as it provides a fuller, richer understanding of the diverse people who make up Ireland's population today. The mystery of the Black Irish is one that spans centuries, blending myth, history, and genetics into a complex puzzle that continues to intrigue both scholars and the general public alike. What began as an observable difference in physical traits, dark hair, dark eyes, and olive skin, has evolved into a deeper question about Ireland's identity, history, and genetic composition. While some theories suggest that the Black Irish are the descendants of Spanish sailors from the Spanish Armada, Phoenician traders, or even Viking invaders, the reality is likely much more complex. Modern genetic evidence has revealed a diverse range of influences on Ireland's population, pointing to a more multifaceted and ancient past than previously believed. One of the most striking revelations from modern DNA testing is that the Black Irish may not be an isolated group, but rather a reflection of Ireland's long history of migration, settlement, and cultural exchange. From the Iberian Peninsula to the Middle East, Ireland has seen waves of influence from various ancient civilizations. Iberian connections appear early in Irish history, particularly in the form of vast genetic markers in modern Irish people. This could be the legacy of prehistoric Iberian migrations, potentially connected to the mythological Milesians, a group said to have arrived in Ireland from Spain thousands of years ago. Additionally, the traces of North African and Middle Eastern DNA in some Irish populations point to more ancient trade routes that extended from the Mediterranean and North Africa to the British Isles. Even the Viking invasions, which introduced Scandinavian bloodlines, may have had an even broader influence than previously thought, with Vikings interacting with people from the Iberian Peninsula or even the Moorish territories. These migrations contributed to a rich tapestry of ancestry in Ireland that defies the simplistic notion of a purely Celtic population. Yet, despite the evidence, the Black Irish phenomenon has remained somewhat of a dark secret in Ireland's history. The reasons for this are deeply rooted in Ireland's national identity. For generations, Irish identity has been inextricably tied to its Celtic roots, and any deviation from this narrative can be uncomfortable for those who seek to preserve the romanticized image of a pure Celtic Ireland. This fear of diluting Irish identity has led to the erasure or minimization of the contributions from these diverse ancient influences. Furthermore, the term Black Irish itself has often carried a social stigma. It has been used to differentiate those who did not fit the traditional, fair-skinned, red-haired image of Irishness. In a society historically obsessed with homogeneity, those who looked different were sometimes seen as outsiders or marked as other. This social divide compounded the mysteries surrounding the Black Irish and kept their origins cloaked in misunderstanding and neglect. As genetic research continues to advance, the Black Irish mystery is being unraveled. The historical narratives of Spain, Phoenicia, North Africa, and Scandinavia are now part of Ireland's complex and multi-layered story. In conclusion, the Black Irish are more than just a genetic curiosity or a physical anomaly. They represent a larger, more inclusive view of Irish identity, one that embraces the varied and complex genetic heritage of the Irish people. The Black Irish are a reminder that history is fluid, and identities are rarely as clear-cut as we might think. Embracing the diversity of Ireland's past opens up new possibilities for understanding who the Irish truly are and how they have come to be the people they are today.